Good morning. Welcome to the Early Mail. It's great to have your company on this Monday. We're about to bring you the best bets for Mildura in Victoria, also Moruya and Scone in New South Wales. Before we get to the best bets of the day, Romsey was the venue and Leon Corson Stables for the return to track work for Damien Oliver. Of course, Damien has been off the scene through a disqualification for the last 8 months, and this morning was his first time back on a horse. And earlier at the property, Damien fronted the assorted media.
Did you count every day, basically counting down to when you could return to track work at least?
Probably times it was quick, but other times it was really slow. But I just sort of had to focus on keeping active and busy and occupied, and that certainly helped the time go past.
How do you reflect on the past 8 months?
I've learned a lot from it, for sure, and hopefully I'll become a better person for it. It was obviously very tough last spring, but looking at the positive side of things, got to spend some great time with my young family, so that's certainly one of the positives.
How much damage do you think you've done to the industry?
It certainly didn't help it a lot. There was a lot of bad publicity during last spring, and a lot of that was due to me. But I take full responsibility for that. It was all my own doing, my own fault. So I've got a lot of bridges to mend over the coming time, and hopefully I can do that.
Damien, can people trust the racing industry?
Yeah, I think they can. My experience in racing, the overwhelming majority of people in racing are honest and hard-working people, and it's up to me now to prove that I can be accepted in that industry again.
Do you think you need to win back the trust of the racing industry, both the punters and owners, trainers and fellow jockeys?
Yeah, perhaps I do. I think obviously, when I've ridden, I've always ridden to get the best possible result for the owners and trainers and people ask me to do their job, and I'll continue to do that, but the only way I can do that is by getting back and riding winners.
How do you respond to the punters who are suspicious that you say that the only bet you had was on Miss Octopussy, that you have no other bets?
Well, I'm sure that's a question that's going to be asked, but I've fully cooperated with the inquiry with RVL, and I'm just trying to look forward now, not back, and put it all behind me.
The Racing Integrity Commissioner has expressed his disappointment at how your situation was handled. What's your take on the integrity of the sport and the systems in place to protect it? Yeah,
I think the stewards and RVL do a great job. As I said, I was up front with them and cooperated with them fully. It was during a very busy spring carnival time, so it took a while for the process to be completed. As I said, I'm just putting all that behind me now and just looking forward to moving on.
So you're telling the punters that the only bet you ever had was on Miss Octopussy?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Yep. Look, we all make mistakes in our past, and the idea is to try and learn from them, and that's what I'm going to try and do.
Damien, what was the low point over these last 8 months, mate?
I was probably just having to sit back and watch the horses that I'd been successful on during the spring carnival win without us, because it's something I've done all my life, and that was probably the toughest part.
How do you take any responsibility for the fine that Robert Smerdon's incurred because of you? Yeah,
look, I thought Robert was hardly done by. He virtually had nothing to do with this at all, and I certainly feel sorry for Robert.
Do you feel as though you have to reimburse him at all?
Might be riding a lot of free track work, I reckon, for him over recent time. I'll be happy, and hopefully I can repay him with some winners.
What's your relationship now with Mark Hunter?
I don't have one.
You disappointed in Mark at all?
Things happen in life and you move on.
What about during the spring you fell out of favour with OTI and Lloyd Williams? Do you hope to sort of get back riding for them at all?
Yeah, look, I've got a lot of people's trust to get back within the industry, so I hope to riding winners for those people again soon, and we'll just see how we go. I mean, I've just got a lot of bridges to mend and work hard, and hopefully I can get some winners on the board.
Do you expect to mend all those bridges?
Oh well, what will be will be. All I can do is work hard and try and win the respect back of the people that I may have lost.
Damien, during the lowest points of the investigation and the suspension, did you ever contemplate giving it away?
Not really, because I certainly don't like to quit on things, and I'm a very competitive person, and racing's been a big part of my life, and I do owe it a lot, and I certainly didn't really want to go out in those terms.
How much longer can you see yourself riding for?
As long as I'm riding winners, I think, and being competitive and getting the opportunities. I think I've still got a lot to give.
Why do you haven't sort of drawn a timeline as to
No, I haven't, no.
What's your spring racing calendar looking like?
Yeah, there's some nice horses. Commanding Jewel, you saw me on this morning. She's a nice prospect for me. Happy Trails as well. You know, and there's been some good support from trainers like Chris Waller and Mick Price. Said they're willing to support me, so that gives me good heart moving forward into the Spring Carnival.
Have you found out who your friends are, Damien, over the past, say, 8 or 10 months?
I probably wouldn't say that, but it's probably a bit, you feel a bit isolated when you're on the sidelines like that, and you know, I'm just looking forward to getting back and renewing some friendships and trying to win back some support.
Have you lost friendships permanently, do you think, over this?
I don't think so. No, I haven't. You know, your friends are your friends through thick and thin as well. I've always found it, and you know, you know, I just want to thank all the people that have supported me, you know, during the tough times.
What do you feel like this has cost you, Damien? You take for respect and things like that, but...
Yeah, I certainly, there's no doubt my reputation has copped a bit of a whack, but, you know, it's up to me now to try and win back that respect.
How do you do that?
I just think by doing my best and working hard.
Alrighty, last question.
How's the body feeling? How's the body feeling?
Feels all right today. I'm tipping I might be a bit sore tomorrow though, but you know, that's part of the getting fit again, and you know, it's great to be back on the horse, and you know, hopefully can't get back. The next step is get back to racing. So you know, I've got a couple of months to get myself fit. So yeah.
Do you expect to be racing on September 13th?
I beg your pardon?
Do you expect to be racing on September 13th?
Yeah, that's my return date. So yeah, I'm looking forward and excited to get back racing by then.
A lot of people thought the penalty was light. What was your take on that?
Well, it's probably not one for me to judge, but I think Sal Perner in his integrity report found that it was in line with other penalties handed out for jockeys with betting offences. So that's not really in my control. I've done my time now, and I'm just looking forward to getting back riding.
Was there a deal done with Racing Victoria into the penalty?
No, there wasn't.
Damien, just the self-penalty inquiry, you didn't talk to Mr. Perner about it. What was the reason behind that?
I just felt there was no reason. I'd been through the inquiry with RBL, cooperated fully with them, and from my point of view, the case has been dealt with.
Thanks, everyone.
Is your return going to coincide with hers? Is she racing around?
No, I think she'll probably have 1 or 2 runs probably before I'm back. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll go jump on a horse, but thank you very much.
So Damien Oliver there at Leon Corson's property in Romsey, Victoria. His first day back at trackwork. We are now joined on the line by Adrian Dunn from the Racing Network. AD, thanks for your time, and there's no doubt that one Damien Oliver is a very determined man as far as getting back into the saddle and getting back to riding winners.
Yes, that's right, Richard. Look, it was the Ollie of old this morning. He was front and square with all the questions, answered them without missing a beat, and was, as we said, straight back into track work. He rode 4 for Leon Corsons this morning, including Commanding Jewel, and he's going to spend the next 2 months doing plenty of track work, not only for Leon Corsons, but also for Chris Waller down in Melbourne, Mick Price, and virtually whoever wants to put him on a horse, he'll be prepared to ride it.
It's a tough enough sport we're in without this happening for Damien, and we know it doesn't take much, and perception's a huge thing. And Damien, no one's more aware than Damien that he has, he said himself, bridges to mend and relationships to build again. But perception's a tough thing in this sport, and it'll be a hard enough road back for him, you think?
Well, look, rightly or wrongly, Richard, racing perception can be everything. And I suppose that the key question that most punters and people outside the racing know is, did Damien Oliver have another bet outside Miss Octopussy? Damien said he hasn't, so, and he was asked repeatedly that today, and he said that the only bet he'd had was on Miss Octopussy at Moonee Valley that night in October.
Retirement was put to him. He said a pretty emphatic no. So he's a long way from hanging up the boots. He's keen to keep on going.
Yeah, look, Damien Oliver turned 41 just last month. He's got nothing left to prove in his career. He's ridden 96 or 97 Group 1 wins, depending on whose count you go by. He's a Hall of Fame jockey. He's won the Grand Slam. So there's nothing more for Damien Oliver to achieve in far as his CV goes, but obviously, as Damien said this morning, he's not a quitter. He didn't want to go out on those terms. he still believes that he has plenty left to offer. So that's what he plans to do. He plans to continue riding, and he wants to win back the trust of those people who he lost during the Miss Octopussy bet scandal.
And when you talk to riders, whether they be trackwork riders or some of our leading jockeys, they are mostly at their most comfortable when they are riding a horse, and I'm sure he was pretty happy to get back on Commanding Jewel and just take her for a spin and others for trackwork this morning at Romsey.
Yeah, look, Damien only arrived back in Melbourne late last night from a weekend in Vanuatu where he went to the Vanuatu Cup. He said that he was sort of waking up every half hour to make sure that he hadn't slept in so he could get out to Leon Corsten's property at Romsey, which is about 70 kilometres northwest of Melbourne. So he's chomping at the bit to get back to it. And today was day one in a 2-month process before he can resume riding on September 13. That's a Geelong synthetic meeting. It's more than likely that he will delay his comeback to the next day, which is the Dado Tan Chin Nam Stakes at Moonee Valley.
We're just watching some footage there, AD, of Commanding Jewel at trackwork this morning. I'm sure nothing would get Damien more excited, and these other top riders and any jockeys, apart from getting aboard a high-class horse like Commanding Jewel. And as I say, we're watching some footage of her, and she looked tremendous this morning.
Well, Leon Corson says that Commanding Jewel, who of course missed the entire autumn campaign, a joint injury, has filled out, matured, developed. Nothing like the Commanding Jewel we saw in the autumn, and she was quite emphatic, winning the 1,000 guineas. He's quietly confident that we can see more of Commanding Jewel in Group 1 races. The aim of both Brad Spicer and Leon Corson's is the Cox Plate. He said he's not sure whether Commanding Jewel will stay the 2,000 metres, but he said he's going to give her every possible chance to. Leon says there's probably a 3-week time span until Commanding Jewel has her first trial, and he's tentatively penciled in a race at Flemington, the Let's Elope Stakes, to possibly kickstart her spring campaign, and that's, I think, in the first week of September.
All right, well, Adrian, we might let you go there. We thank you for your time, and again, it's a big story in racing. It was a big story when it happened, the suspension of Damien Oliver, but no doubt he was very forthright this morning, and I'm sure he's had plenty of time over the past months to get ready for a press conference like that this morning. I'm sure he knew what questions may have been going to be fired at him.
Oh, look, no doubt. Look, I'd say he'd been very well prepped. He's had eight months to think about the questions that he was likely to be asked, and they were asked this morning. As I said, he was on the front foot. He was candid. He was confident. He was like the Ollie of old. He answered all the questions succinctly, and then got back to what he does better than anyone else, and that's ride horses.
Adrian, thanks for your time, and it's racingnetwork.com.au to follow yours and Brent's stories throughout the day, and I'm sure there's more news to come with one Damien Oliver.
Look, that's right, Richard. I think we've already got about 6 or 7 stories up on the Damien Oliver press conference this morning at racingnetwork.com.au, and there'll be more as the day unfolds.
Thanks for your time.
No problem, Richard.
There is Adrian Dunn from the Racing Network bringing us up to speed on Damien Oliver resuming track work riding this morning at Romsey. We'll take a break on the early mail. On the other side, the best bets for our main venue on 522 today, that is Mildura.